All right, so today's class on decimals, we are starting decimals. So our first class today is looking at the expanded form and the standard form for decimals. All right, so we know that numbers, they're going to have different values depending on where they are placed on the place value chart shown here. So in the case of decimals, here we have our decimal. The first number to the right is the tenths spot. The second number is the hundredths spot. Third number is the thousandth spot. And then that will continue. We'll have the 10,000th spot, and then you'll have the 100,000th spots, and then it'll go into the millionth spot, and so on. It'll keep going. All right, so this number here is 14.5683. It's shown written right here. All right, so we have to the left of the decimal, we have the 4 in the ones position, and the 1 is in the tens position. All right, so here, the same number, 14.5683, we are going to write this number in expanded form. So there's two ways we can do this. So I'll show both ways. All right, so we'll start with, there's 1 in the tens place, plus we have the 4 in the ones place. Then we get into the decimals. So we have 5 in the tenths position. So we show that 5 times 0.1. Then we have the 6. It's in the hundredths position. So we have 6 times 0.01. Then we have the 8 in the thousandths position. 8 times 0.001. And then we have the 3 in the 10,000ths position. So 3 times 0.0001. All right, so that's the first method that you can write in expanded form. The second method is the left side is the same. So it's still 1 times 10 plus we have the 4 in the ones position. And then when we get to the decimal side, we can represent this using fractions. So we can say 5 times 1 over 10 plus we have 6 times 1 over 100. That's showing the hundredths position. Then we have 8 times 1 over 1,000. And then we have 3 times 1 over the 10,000. All right, so those are the two ways we can write out the number in expanded form. All right, so let's go over this first one. So we have 3 in the tens position, plus we have 6 in the ones position, and then we have 9. I'll do it in decimal form. So we have 9 in the 10th position, and we have 5 in the hundredths position. And we don't have to show the 0. We can just go on to the 7, and 7 is in the 10,000ths position. All right, so if you had done that as fraction form, then we have 3 times 10, 6 times 1, 9 times 1 over 10, 5 times 1 over 100, and then 7 times 1 over 10,000. All right, if you didn't already finish the second one, try the second one. Okay, so for this one, we have the 2 in the ones position. So 2 times 1, and then we get to the decimals. We have 2 there in the tenths position. So writing that as in decimal forms, 2 times 0.1. And then we don't have to include the zeros. We'll just go to the 6. And that 6 is in the 10 thousandths position. So 6 times 0.0001. If you wrote that using fractions, we have 2 times 1 plus 2 times 1 over 10 plus 6 times 1 over 10,000. All right, so the first one, I'm just going to put a decimal down, and I'll just put some place values here because I can see I have 4 in the tens place. So I'm going to put a 4 there in the tens place. I have a 6 in the ones place. All right, and then I'll just put down some decimals there. I have 4 in the tenths position, so right here. And then I have an 8 in the hundredths position, so right here. All right, so our decimal is 46.48. Okay, I'll let you guys try that second one here. Okay, so let's try this one here. So I've already kind of marked all my place values here. There's my decimal. So to the left of the decimal are the whole numbers. So I have my ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. And then on to the right hand side, this is my tenths, hundreds, thousandths. All right, so now we'll fill in. So we have 1 in the thousands position, so that would go here. And we have a 9 in the tens position, so my tens position is here. All right, that means I can fill those 2 in with zeros. Next, I have 8 in my thousandths position, so tenths, hundredths, thousandths. I'm going to put my 8 here, and then I'm going to fill these in with 0 because nothing else is given for those positions. So this is my number. The number is 1090.008. Lastly, just writing decimals in words. So if we have a decimal here, 85.64, how do we say this in words? So you can say 85.64, but the technical way to say it is 85, that's the whole number. Then the decimal, we say and then we say 64 hundredths. So we say 64, and our last digit here is in the hundredths position, so it would be 64 hundredths. All right, so the first step, read the digit to the left of the decimal point as a whole number, so 85. Second step, say and for the decimal point, so we're saying and here for the decimal point. Step 3, you're going to read the digits to the right of the decimal point as a whole number, so it was 64. And the last thing to say is say the place name of the last digit on the right. So this was in the hundredths position, so 64 hundredths. So the number is 85 and 64 hundredths. Another example here, we have 2.452. So we would call this 2 and 452 thousandths. All right, because we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Our last number lands in the thousandths position. So 2 and 452 thousandths. All right, so here we have a number 8278.9670. So let's figure out the word form of this number. All right, so we just went over this number here. So this number would be called 8,278 and 9,670 ten thousandths, right? Because the last digit here is a 0 and it's in the 10 thousandths position. Okay, let's give these a try. All right. So the last slide here, try to write these decimals in words. All right, so we just went over them. And here we just have the answers for those. So the first one is red, 25 and 578 thousandths, all right, because the 8 is in the thousandths position. The next one is 7,000 and 14 hundredths, because the 4 is in the hundredths position. And the last one is just 2 thousandths, because the 2 here is in the thousandths position. All right, so we'll stop here for today.